So tonight I'm going to be reading from one of my own books, Underwater, A World Drowning in Addiction. To make it a little easier, I have made it so it would display on the monitor so I could read from that instead of looking down and not paying attention to you because you are the reason I do this. Um, this is a book that I felt like I needed to write, and it was telling me to write it for a long time, but that whole ego thing where you write about what people will think. But I believe that stories help other people and give other people permission to heal and to grow. So this is just a small chapter of my life, but one that did change my life and help me become a better person in the process. So I hope you enjoy this story on Narrative Nights. I'm going to share the screen and we're going to get into this. Okay. So I have it here. Okay. So all my books are dedicated to someone. So we're going to open this up. And Underwater, a world drowning in addiction. So that's just my dedication. So this is from my nephew, Jimmy Roberts Jr. May you always be surrounded by love, light, and endless possibilities. An Irish blessing. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sunshine warm upon your face, the rain fall softly upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hands. Jimmy, you are a bright light in this world, and I'm so proud of the person you are. May you always walk in strength, love, and purpose, knowing you are deeply valued. No matter where life takes you, you are never alone. Your family stands with you, cheering you on. Okay. Okay, that's just about me. So this is a note from the author. Hello, I am Andra Annette. I am a grateful recovering alcoholic, and the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous saved my life. If you were reading this, chances are addiction has touched your life in some way. Maybe it is your struggle, or maybe it is someone you love. Whatever the case, I want you to know one thing before you turn another page. There's hope. When I first walked into the rooms of AA, I was lost. I was drowning in shame, guilt, and fear, convinced I was beyond saving. But then something remarkable happened. The people in that room did not see a broken addict. They saw me, a person, a human being, struggling to find her way back to life. I owe my life to that lifeline, and this book is my way of reaching back into the water to offer it to someone else. This is not just a book about addiction, it's about people. It is about seeing the person behind the disease and understanding the unmet needs, the loneliness, the wounds, the longing, which drives so many of us to seek escape. It is about breaking down stigma, fostering compassion, and most of all, finding connection. Whether you are someone struggling with addiction, a family member searching for answers, or simply someone trying to understand, my hope is that this book will open your heart and mind because no one deserves to be defined by their addiction. Thank you for letting me share my story with you. Introduction. At first, it is just a sinking, a barely noticeable pull beneath your feet. Like the sand shifting under the tide, it feels natural, almost unremarkable. You tell yourself it is nothing. You have swum in these waters before, haven't you? But then the pull grows stronger. The surface of the water seems farther away. With every moment, and your lungs, your body, your mind, they all scream for air. You thrash, but there is nothing to grab hold of. No one sees it though. Above the surface, everything looks calm. They see you smiling, working, living, but beneath the waves, your arms grow tired, your chest burns, and you start to wonder if you even want to keep fighting. It would be so much easier just to let the current take you. This is an addiction. It does not matter what the vice is, whether alcohol, food, sex, screens, or something else entirely. The water might look different for everyone, but the feeling is the same. You are trapped in it, swallowed whole by something you never intended to fall into. I've been there. For years, I lived underwater. I thought I could manage it. I thought I was still in control. But control is an illusion when the current is this strong. There were moments when I nearly sank for good. Moments I thought the surface was a lie, something for other people to reach, but never for me. This book is my way of coming up for air, and I hope it helps you find your way to the surface too. But it is not just about me. The truth is, we are all swimming in something. Everyone has their own current, their own water. Maybe it doesn't need to be seen. Maybe it is the quiet ache of childhood wounds. Maybe it is the weight of the world that constantly tells us we are not enough. Whatever it is, this book is not about shame. It is about understanding. It is about seeing the people around us and maybe even ourselves with new eyes. The water does not have to win. You do not have to drown. Together, we can rise. Okay, so this chapter is born into the undertow. We're not going to read the whole book, so don't get nervous. We will meet again. Okay. At the tender age of sex, I took my first forbidden drink. My first forbidden sip, a moment marked not by innocence, but by a searing, visceral warning from my own body. Even then, I knew deep down that alcohol was not meant for me. My system reacted with an unmistakable allergy that foreshadowed a lifetime I conflicted, encounters with a substance I could never fully embrace. As the youngest of four sisters, I was supposed to be the baby of the family, the status often accompanied by extra love and indulgence. Instead, I grew up under the weight of both verbal and physical abuse. I remember moments when my mother, in a bitter haze of regret, confessed that she wished she had given me up for adoption. Those words echoed long after they were spoken, leaving me to wonder if I was, in fact, not meant to be. Birthdays passed without celebration, no cake, no fanfare, only the quiet ache of invisibility. In our home, comparisons were relentless. Who was the smartest, the prettiest, the most obedient? Yet amidst the constant scrutiny, my sisters and I clung to one another in a silent rebellion. Our bond was the only refuge in a world that insisted we were never enough on our own. This story is not meant to evoke pity. It is a call to notice how, from childhood, we are taught that love must be earned and that we are inherently lacking. For years, I drifted through recovery without truly finding my footing until the weight of my past and the lure of addiction finally forced me to confront those unmet needs. In sharing my journey, I asked, what messages are we perhaps unknowingly passing on to our children about their inherent worth? Okay, so next chapter, and then we'll end there. Okay, and then we'll pick this up another time because I really do want to read this book to you. It took me, it was a lot of pain and a lot of old feelings came up for me, triggers came up for me when I was writing this. But I thought it was more important that I share this for the people that are still out there sick and suffering. We think that we do something inherently wrong, and it's not never intended to hurt others. It's usually self-inflicted, so we think at ourselves because we don't know how to cope. It's a coping mechanism from us, from those, generational stories, that pain of the past, those traumas that never really we never released, we never worked on those wounds. We never got answers to those problems, right? So why those things happen to us, right? So um but these books that I write help me heal in a way that I can't even explain to you. So I'm so grateful that I can share these with other people, and hopefully they help someone else not feel as alone as we do when we're struggling through this. So, what are we teaching our children? Chapter 2. Reflecting on our childhood reveals that many of our beliefs about self-worth, connection, and even the seeds of addiction are not innate but learned. We absorb messages through every moment of comparison, every conditional hug, every instance of silence when reassurance was most needed. Were we ever born knowing we were enough? No. Instead, we learned that our value depended on meeting an invisible standard. Some were outright told they were deficient. Others internalized the message through neglect and quiet disapproval. So I ask you again, what are we teaching our children? Are we tying their worth to productivity and achievement? Are we implying that love must be earned rather than given freely? Are we, with an intent, repeating cycles of shame and self doubt? Even in homes overflowing with love, subtle pressures can drive children toward the dangerous pursuit of external validation. It is in these very conditions that addiction takes root, not as a moral failing, but as an escape from the overwhelming need for approval. Our parents and the generations before them were simply navigating their own wounds. Recognizing this does not erase the hurt. It challenges us to break the cycle with compassion. True healing begins when we affirm that every child is inherently worthy of love, just as they are. What addiction feels like. Last one, I promise. Addiction is more than a physical dependence. It is a constant, invisible weight that drags at the soul. It is loneliness so profound that it convinces you no one could ever understand, and a pain so deep that even facing it seems unbearable. For me, drinking was never about alcohol. It was a desperate escape. With each sip, I sought to quiet the inner voice that told me I was not enough, to hush memories that haunted me, and to mask the fear of revealing my true self. Alcohol offered a fleeting illusion of freedom, a brief reprieve where I could laugh louder and speak with a false confidence, all while the erosion of self-worth continued in silence. But addiction deceives. Every drink slowly stole something irreplaceable, moments I will never reclaim. Trust that was broken, and a control that was always an illusion. Society often misinterprets addiction as a simple failure of willpower. Yet for many of us, it is a disease born from deep-seated trauma, a complex interplay of genetic predisposition, emotional pain, and learned ways of coping. In recovery, we discover that quitting is not just about stopping a habit, it's about transforming the very way we think, process pain, and care for ourselves. We learn to extend to ourselves the same compassion we so freely give to others, a lesson in reclaiming our inherent worth, one small step at a time. So we are going to stop there. Um, so, but I will come back in. We will read some more of this. I have written a lot of books out here, and a lot of people wonder why I write so many books, and where I get the ideas from. So, all the things I write are chapters of my life, my ways of healing through my words and sharing those stories. As a child, I would write all the time. I would write about how broken I thought I was. I would write about fantasies of living in faraway lands. And one of the books that I recently wrote was Anger in the Closet. And it was a book of poetry on me really working through those feelings, some in good ways and some in bad ways, but I am conscious in that book because everybody has a conscience. And I had to confront those skeletons in my closet to release some of that pain, some of that trauma, and some of that hurt that was keeping me sick, sick in a lot of ways, physically, emotionally, mentally. I wasn't able to fully mature until I was really ready to let all those things that were limiting me and my perception of myself go. So, and every day I heal in new ways. So, if you're someone who's struggling with addiction, the book talks about ways you can get help, how you could always reach out to me. There's a letter to the family members and a letter to the people that are still suffering in here. And I want to let you know that you could always reach out to me. So there are many different forms of addiction. There are overeaters, overachievers, people pleasers, workaholics. There's addicts and alcoholics, and um, we all find different vices to cope with that pain and that trauma when we don't know any other way. So um, a lot of people don't understand that, but a lot of times addiction is very closely related to past traumas and past hurt, right? And instead of looking at people and saying, oh my God, look at them, I'd like you to look at them with a little compassion and say, oh my God, what happened to them? Because they're hurting and they really need you to extend that hand. Okay. So that's enough for me for today. I hope you enjoyed this session of Narrative Nights with Andra Annette. I love bringing this to you and I love sharing these stories. Have a great night.